Hi, I'm Dave Derr from Empirical Labs, and I'm here at American Musical Supply. Empirical Labs, like a lot of companies, started with some of us being a musician back in the late 80s, mid 80s. And one of my first passions was actually electronics, as I have two brothers that are engineers. And I kind of combined the two at a certain point in music as a musician. Of course, anybody that's got a guitar knows they have to eventually learn how to wire or fix a connector. So you start out with a little bit of knowledge, and then with my two brothers being engineers, I always had the technical interest there. My father too was very, very technical. And so I ended up meeting a guy in Radio Shack, of all places, back when Radio Shack was around. And he got me my first job in electronics after my band broke up. So that was the start of me actually shifting from musician to actual electronics. Shortly after that, I was blessed to get a job at Eventide, which was obviously, this is an audio company. What I did there was basically fake as an engineer. And I got trained by two of my best friends, still to this day, Ken Bogdanovich and Bob Belcher. And after about 7 years, 8 years, I had a studio going, and I was able to actually start working on designs outside of Eventide while I had the studio. And then that led to our first product, which was the Distressor. So I think that story is going to be really common throughout the industry, where someone starts out as a musician and you kind of follow where life takes you. From the start, one of our main goals was versatility. I had a studio, as I said, I was a little small studio owner, and when I first got, I believe it was a Gain Brain 1 was the first life-changing piece of equipment. Then I got an 1176 and an LA2A, and they literally did change the sound of my studio. And it became apparent that at the time those weren't really being made anymore. I think the Gain Brain 1 had just stopped being made. There was a lull there where the 1176 wasn't made and LA2A wasn't made. And so for me, I wanted to know, having come from Eventide, I wanted to know why did those devices, more than a lot of the new stuff, change my life. So versatility was one, I want to be able to get at least in that ballpark of sound, because it did change my studio quality. And two, we don't want to make a lot of products in general. So it's more important that each product be able to get a lot of different sounds and be extremely versatile. In fact, our slogan, if you go to our website, is a few great products. So that's why we went that route. Recording engineers is one of those disciplines that is often, again, preceded with another direction, usually a musician. Usually most recording engineers are musicians first, just like designers. And just like almost any profession, it's all about your time spent at your craft. So I always tell people that are beginning now, this is the best time there's ever been to learn recording as an engineer, because of the ease of and wide variety of EQs you now have in your computer. And compressors, all these things that used to have a big console or racks full of equipment to actually experiment and learn your craft are now all available very inexpensively within your computer. So my advice to them, get a computer and a DAW if you don't have any of the other equipment or a big console, and start playing in your bedroom. Learn your craft in your house. You can start at 12 years old if you want. It used to be, first time I got behind a real EQ, I was probably 25, So just jump on it, get a DAW, start playing with the EQs, the compressors, learn what they do, because what you learn there is applicable throughout your life. Empirical Labs started as an analog company, obviously. However, if you think about it, my first employment in the electronic audio business was at Eventide, which was one of the first digital companies. So I've always had the love for digital, and right now we're rapidly, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've been heavily focused on the digital evolution. And we now have basically three plugins, 2 with UA. our own Arouser plugin, and we're going to continue in the software direction. However, we won't give up hardware design at all, and there's a lot of ground in between, you know, converter boxes, ways to get into the actual DAW, you know. So our direction is going to definitely be to facilitate or perhaps actually create digital software for music production. The whole world between analog and digital has gotten very small now. The differences have become very minor. I think most people would agree. Some people still, you know, hang on to whatever they have always believed in. But the fact is that it's the painter and not the paintbrush. Whoever uses whatever recording medium or whatever tools they have available, they're going to be the main determining factor of quality and not the tools. And I think that's going to be true forever. And the fact is our digital tools are gotten much cheaper now, but they're also much better. So, you know, the digital part of the pie is gotten so big, just a number of factors, quality and then expense. The expense has gone down, quality's gone up. So there's no doubt in my mind that the world is moving rapidly into digital. But look at the resurgence of vinyl and some of the analog products out there. Obviously, there's an advantage to some people, and some people do really care about that sound. But in my book, it's the user, the guy that applies the paint to the canvas, that is really the guy that determines how good the brush is. You can check out the whole line of Empirical Labs products at americanmusical.com.